Hello and happy summer! Once again, we're back with another update for Harmonic Odyssey. I'm pleased to say that I've got a lot done this month that was mostly story-driven, so that was really exciting. A couple of things that I came into development with, story-wise, they came as surprises, and I'm pretty excited now for the ways that things are going to move when it comes to the narration, when it comes to the plot, when it comes to all the things that have to do with the background of the characters, of the world. It's pretty neat. As you go along, you make things and you might not know where they're going to end up. I sometimes like to work backwards when I do stories, and this was no exception. I almost always have an end in mind when I write something. I don't always know the nuances about how that ending's going to come about, and I think that's pretty typical of writers to work in such a fashion. One of these really neat things that I did this past month was a cutscene. I've actually got a link for this at the end of the video, and if you haven't seen it yet, please go check it out. It's pretty cool. A lot of history. I came into some ideas that weren't fully fleshed out even a month ago, and I thought, well, why don't we work with this idea of multiple time frames? And I didn't realize I was going to be working in a multi-time frame universe until approximately 4 weeks back. And that's okay, because I like it a lot more now, and it fits really, really well. And I think you guys are going to be pleased with how it works out. Those of you who have read my stuff from years ago, who are in this because you have an attachment to some of these characters, as I do, from, years gone by, as well as people who have never seen any of my work before, as well as anybody who's never been into any of the source material. The course of action that the player gets to take through this game should be satisfying to all people, all comers. Anybody who wants to try out Harmonic Odyssey should have a good time with it. And I'm, like I said, very, very pleased with how that came out. Quite a surprise there, but like I said, check out the cutscene. You'll see for yourself what it's all about, and maybe glean some insights as to what I'm trying to get at with some of this stuff. Making cutscenes is such a laborious process, and I love doing it, but it's one of those things that I think I've found I can only put so much time into if I want to actually get the game done. So I initially wanted to have like a ton of cutscenes. I wanted to have a cutscene after every boss battle. I wanted to have a cutscene, like, I don't know, every maybe 15 minutes of gameplay. And that's awesome, but that's absolutely ridiculous when it comes to the kind of manpower that I have. I have a lot of ability to make some really cool animations, and I got some really cool software lately that is allowing me to do it even better, but it's still a lot. And for that reason, I think I've told you guys in the past, I've had to cut out some voice acting. I've had to cut out a lot of the music, sound effects, things like that. Just kind of keeping things simple so that it does no more than what it's supposed to, which is drive the story and not be the whole story. The other concerns that I have are with, of course, hardware limitations, memory, etc. Even though the game that I'm making right now is pretty light, it's still going to be a concern for, certain people. I really don't want to isolate anybody in this. It's just a simple game. It's just a hobby game, and I don't want anybody to miss out on it. That being said, the story of Harmonic is, I don't know, maybe like 100 stories converged together. And it's its own thing, of course, but there's also so much background to this. I didn't always know where to cut the line between things that I've done in the past and things that I want to do now. I think from the beginning it was pretty obvious that I didn't want to just make it so these characters had no history that I'd ever put into them before. I wanted to make it so that there was a connection. I didn't want to make it obvious, though. And I certainly didn't want to alienate people who had never seen them before or seen anything before, because it's immaterial. It's just, it is what it is, as we say. I will say that the old content will be a nice Easter egg for a lot of you guys who have been with me for a while or have been with me in the past and are now just checking in on what I'm doing these days. But it's not going to be necessary for you to enjoy and get satisfaction out of what comes of the whole story. I've been getting a lot of questions about properties that I don't own and how they're going to be involved in this whole thing. And with regards to that, it was never really my intention to have too much involvement there. But I mean, obviously, like I said, with the videos about the homages that I've made, there's definitely going to be that. And you can also draw your own conclusions. And if you get something out of it, great. If you don't, that's okay. Maybe it's something, maybe it's nothing. I don't know. I enjoy leaving that kind of thing up to interpretation of the individual. I am the kind of writer that draws a semicircle. So it's a circle, but you have to fill in this much to connect the endpoints, if that makes any sense. That's about all I have this month, guys. I hope to see you next month, and I will be glad to show you even more of what we're getting into. It's getting really fun and exciting now, so I really look forward to doing these videos for as little time as I have. It's something that I really get a kick out of, so talk to you then.